With more news for you, including a Marin County teacher faces charges of having sex with a minor. Dr. Howard Devore on why some people will risk everything for relationships that violate trust and social taboos. And coming up next, a Bay Area teacher is accused of having sex with her student. Psychologist Howard Devore examines the underlying reasons behind similar affairs. We'll be right back.
Well, a Walnut Creek teacher today is free on her own recognizance after pleading not guilty to charges of having sex with a minor. 31-year-old Lena Westhoff is accused of having a 5-month affair with a 16-year-old student who she was tutoring at Northgate High School. Although Westhoff has not been convicted, the case is bringing up questions about teacher-student relationships. What exactly drives people to risk everything for an illicit and illegal affair? Love expert Dr. Howard Devore is here to uncover the reasons behind so-called taboo relationships. Good morning.
Good morning.
Does it seem to be happening more and more, or are we just hearing about it more and more?
We're hearing more about relationships between female teachers and their male students. I think the relationships between male teachers and their female students are probably so common they're not newsworthy.
And they get a lot of media attention because of sort of the difference these days.
Yeah.
So the driving question, why? Why does this happen?
Well, people do these kinds of things for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's because the relationship they're in is unsatisfying. If they're not happy in their marriage relationship, they look for a relationship somewhere else. And it isn't uncommon for people to look for that kind of other relationship at work. For a teacher, at work is often working with their students, and sometimes they happen to fall in love with their adult-looking and adult-behaving but underage students.
Also, it brings up the whole question of authority. I mean, and abusing positions of power.
Yes. Well, that's the greatest issue in these kinds of cases. Is there an abuse of power in a situation like this? Is the teacher taking advantage of a kind of authority that they have over their student by entering into an affair with that person? And you really have to look at the nature of the relationship. I've worked with people on both sides of this issue, both the teacher and the student, where the teacher and the student were very much in love with one another, and they were having a full-on love relationship that could easily be recognized as one that was adult. They were doing adult things and making adult choices.
However,
yes,
there are laws in society, and
correct.
I mean, probably the most visible case of all was that of Mary Kay Letourneau, who fathered children by the student that she had an affair with. So even if you argue that love can be legitimate between two people, one happens to be a minor, and there are laws, and many would say, of course, minors are not prepared to handle that end of an adult relationship.
Well, the fact is that our laws are pretty sketchy on that particular issue. In a lot of states, people at the age of 14 can be emancipated minors and basically have adult rights. And we try many people who are under 18 as adults in cases like murder and for other kinds of adult crimes. So we're really not, as a society, so clear about where adult falls. Just because during the Reagan years we decided that everybody under 18 was a child, it doesn't seem to be true across cases in the law.
What happens also in some of these relationships, especially when we're talking about the difference in power that a teacher will have over a student, it's not necessarily high school. I mean, when you're talking, or even middle school, or as some of the cases have been. Rolling Stone magazine this week has an article about the number of affairs which happen between college professors and many of their students, and that in years past the whole notion of sexual harassment has become more prominent in the news, and therefore there is less toleration for that type of thing, even when it is so-called legal, than there used to be.
Well, the fact is that I've known college professors that married their students. So because those people are over 18, you're getting again into this very, very gray area. Yes, I would agree there's an abuse of power in those situations as well. There can be an abuse of power in situations like that, but not always. Those are often consenting relationships.
And when they're not, are there psychological repercussions with the students?
Sure, and there are psychological repercussions not just for the couple, but also for all the people involved with the couple. In the case like with Mary Kay Letourneau, she had children, and her children get a strange message about what relationships mean, what love means, what sex means, when their mom is having sex with somebody who may be close to their own age, or maybe just a few years older than them. So the kids learn a bad lesson as a result of that. Similarly, the supposed child, the under 18-year-old person in an instance like this, gets some ideas about what kind of person they can fall in love with. And sometimes you'll see that they tend to eroticize people who are 15 to 20 years older than them throughout their life term.
Dr. Howard Devore, as always, thanks very much.
Good to see you.
Appreciate the information. Lena Westhoff, by the way, could face a